Cleveland, Ohio, and you're listening to Barbecue Central.
Let's go!
We'll do it live. Okay. Well, do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and... Oh, should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
Good evening and welcome to the Really Big Barbecue Central Show. This is the show that talks about all things that are important in the world of barbecue and grilling. This show originating from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city, Bomb City, USA, Cleveland, Ohio, the barbecue capital of the North Coast. I am your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard here on your Tuesday evenings, a live fire, fun, and frivolity show. If you would like to get in contact with the show this evening, or you would like to follow the show during off-show hours, here's how you do all of that.
You can get in touch with the show by sending an email to Greg at BBQCentralShow.com. Follow us on all the social media channels at BBQ Central Show. And be sure to subscribe to the show podcast feed on your favorite podcast platform.
Anything else you want to find out about the show can be found at the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. And here's what's happening in case you get the newsletter coming up in about 12 minutes from now. A one-time embedded correspondent and frequent guest of the show, then left the show, then has come back to the show over the past year and a half. Owner of Owl's Nest Barbecue, our pal Steve Ray from Ooltewah, Tennessee, joins the show. We're going to be talking to Steve tonight about where his state of barbecue supply store business is, what's been the hot seller over the course of the first 7 months, what he predicts will be big sellers to pull through the rest of the year. There might be any trending items coming up that we're not on the radar with that he can set us on. We'll also talk about his passion in covering the competitive food world as of late. As I said last week, breathlessly covering the competitive eating network. He's become recent best buddies with one Pat Bertoletti. And you said, who? And I said, Pat Bertoletti. And we were none the wiser. That was Andy Husbands, by the way, laughing like that. Go back and listen to his last appearance. He laughs like this. That's not nervous. So Steve Ray coming up shortly, and then after him, he was in the first interview segment last week because we ran into some technical issues that ate up some time. I didn't get to ask all of my questions on the new product that we were talking about. That, of course, being the Fireboard Pulse. Ted Conrad has graciously decided to join us once more. So there were a bunch of other questions that I wanted to ask, and we want to do a little compare-contrast to the two big-named items. One's big name and still yet to be released, the other meter. And we can also talk about the Pulse and how they all compare-contrast at the end, but there were some other items that people wanted to have answered, or other questions people wanted to have answered. So Ted Conrad coming in once again. And then we'll move to the second hour. Fourth Tuesday of a month in the second hour can bring only the visits from our pals, the Embedded Correspondents. Doug Scheiding from Texas and John Solberg from Michigan. And we may see a Rusty Monson sighting from the great city of Utah, and Matt Osmond from Tennessee. That's your second hour. A laundry list of 100% Assurity questions. We have some other topics to dive into as well, so stay tuned for that. Don't forget, you can follow me socially on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchats, and the LinkedIns, all with the handle at BBQ Central Show. We say good evening to those of you watching tonight through one of our video streaming platforms. You can go to facebook.com/BBQ Central Show or twitter.com/BBQ Central Show, or you can watch on YouTube, which is youtube.com/@BBQ Central Show, where we have a new YouTube poll question of the week, and we're asking everybody this, and voting is fast and furious, I have to say. Joe Martinez is really Martin Martinez, and currently and shockingly, 71% of you are saying yes. Joe Martinez is really Martin Martinez. We'll see how those poll results go for the rest of the show, including all guests. Results of last week's poll, the griddle market will remain a hot one for consumers through the balance of 2024. 73% of you agreed with that, saying it would remain a hot portion of the live fire industry, at least through the close of the year. But a lot of folks last week thought that this might just be a brand new segment that is not going to lose steam anytime in the near future, at least. So we'll start here tonight. Last week, for about 35 minutes, I was having a pretty good interview with one Joe Martinez as we recapped his 2-year food truck career. You might recall that he recently closed for good, and we really dove into a number of topics that led to his closing. But we also talked quite a bit about things he could have done differently in order to extend his longevity or to have allowed him to remain open, operate the way he wanted to. So if you are someone who has been in the exploratory phase of opening a barbecue food truck or trailer or something along those lines, go back and listen to the interview from last week during the second hour and really listen to what Joe was saying. And I say all of that to say this. It was a really good interview for those first 35 minutes. And I had no idea that he was going to throw a grenade in at the end when we started talking about his plans to throw or to sell those big barbecue pits. One, he said he did have sold to a guy in Washington. I don't know if that was D.C. or state. I think state. No big deal. And then the bomb, quote, my brother Martin is going to buy the other one. He's opening his own food truck, and he's only weeks away from being in business. Gang, for the life of me, I have been trying to figure out why this is a good idea for our man Martin, who we have never met on this show. Your emails over the course of the week have been many. You are as shocked as I was as it was happening, but we're all wondering the same thing. If a guy is working alongside you day after day and is in the middle of what ends up being an unsuccessful business venture for what appears to be a myriad of reasons, and now you're going to try and do it yourself, there can only be a limited number of conclusions that we can make, and they are as follows. The first two are not good. Number one, Martin sees what happened, doesn't care, and thinks he can do better while operating in the same exact city where the first business failed for the reasons Joe laid out last week. Number two, and this one might be worse. By the way, number one is borderline definition of crazy, doing the same exact thing time after time and expecting a different result. Borderline, not there yet. Time will tell, but borderline crazy. Number two, Martin saw the mistakes that were being made and remained silent and allowed Joe to continue operating without ever saying anything to him about how the ship was sinking and giving him ideas to help right that ship or turn on the bilge pump or get the buckets and help bailing. Now, will he open and execute the plan he was secretly developing behind the scenes and will ultimately be a success? Time will tell on that as well. Or third, Martin has hidden limitless wealth and need something to do to finish time during the day. That's got to be it. Martin Martinez, French for limitless wealth. It's got to be one of the three, gang. And I tried and tried and tried and tried over the course of this past week, starting a week from tomorrow on Wednesday, emailing Joe, because I don't have Martin's contact information. Joe, can we get Martin time after time, day after day, sometimes twice a day? And then at some point on Saturday afternoon, Joe said, you know what? He's not really into it. And my reply back to Joe was, well, he better be into it, because he's going to be neck deep into something that seems outrageous to even bother getting involved with in the first place. He needs to come on the big show so we can talk about this. But I was denied, dare I say, rebuffed. We will continue to follow that story. By the way, the poll is clawing back closer to 50-50. We'll update that after we ask what Steve Ray thinks. Folks, the Members Mark Pro Series thermostatic gas grills were thoughtfully designed and engineered with materials specifically designed for their durability and performance. The Firebox was designed to deliver the ultimate in heat retention, durability, and premium corrosion resistance. Every detail of the cooking system has been fine-tuned to ensure superior and consistent cooking performances, including heavy gauge cooking grates, powerful 304 stainless steel burners, a weatherproof channel ignition system that offers the most reliable ignitions in the industry. Where can you find it? Glad you asked. Members Mark Pro Series grills with the thermostatic control, patented by the way, now available at your local Sam's Club store. So go ahead and visit, get a day pass. I think they give those out still, maybe. Or steal your neighbor's pass, whatever. And then check them out in person. So I used oven mode 2 days ago when I cooked a couple of brand new pork tenderloins. Put oven mode on to 225, let them come up real slow like in a reverse sear. And then once they got to 125, 130 degrees, pulled them off. Went from oven mode to grill mode. Everything on high. Didn't use side burner this time. Just wanted the high heat sear in the normal grilling chamber. Perfection. So easy to use. Literally set it and forget it. Great stainless. Looks great on the back porch. You got to check it out. At your local Sam's Club store, Members Mark Pro Series grills. We're back with Steve Ray right after this. Stick around. Be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Show studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
Welcome back to this portion of the show being brought to you by CookinPellets.com, your number one source for quality wood pellets for all your pellet-driven cookers. After you have decided what you want by visiting the CookinPellets.com website, you can buy from these instead with great shipping rates, much better than cooking pellets can certainly supply you with. Amazon.com, Lowe's.com, or Walmart.com, all places you've heard of and trust. And once again, same great selection, even better shipping rates. Amazon, Lowe's, or Walmart. My first guest tonight, the proprietor of a barbecue supply store. He hosts his own live stream show each week and may or may not have a thing for auto repair and selling of gas. If you are in Ooltewah, Tennessee, you should stop by the Owl's Nest Barbecue Supply Store, and you can fuel up your fine whip at the historic gas and service station entitled Steve Ray's Midnight Oil. We welcome back our pal Steve Ray to the show. Steve, before we get going tonight, we have a YouTube poll question of the week that we're asking everybody, which is this: Jose Martinez is really Martin Martinez, yes or no?
That is the most interesting question anybody has ever asked me.
That's one of the most intelligent questions anybody has ever asked me.
I thought the same thing.
Yes.
I think, since I have never seen them together, I think Martin and Joe are the same person.
Yeah. 63% of the YouTube voting public agreeing with you,
David
Steve.
Copperfield's two people.
That's right.
Yeah. And you never saw them together.
No, never. So we'll see how the stats track for the rest of the show here tonight. But 63% agreeing with Steve that Joe and Martin just might be the same person. Steve, as you look back through the first 7, almost now going on 8 months, full 7 months of the year, in your neck of the woods for barbecue supply, what's pulling through the store very well? And are there other products that you thought were going to be gangbusters that, as we have kind of broached past mid-year, are a little disappointing?
Yeah, our Green Mountain Grill sales remain pretty strong. Not as strong as in years past, but they're still our number one seller in the grill line. We took on the Franklin pits. We bought 2 of those, and we've sold 1. And we still got the other one. Of course, that's going to take a very unique consumer to buy that. And the fellow that did buy it is a very unique guy, and he is enjoying it very much. I thought I took on a little Napoleon kettle line.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they might go because they're pretty cheap, $2.99. They're still sitting there getting a little dusty, so we have to do something about that. My biggest disappointment, and it's something that I love, is still the pit barrel cooker. We really stocked up on those, and they're not. We sold a few. I thought the Badger barrel would go better at $249. It's still a little slow, but those kind of products are something that if one person gets it in the neighborhood, boom, 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 everybody else will see it and they'll go, "Where did you get that? $249? Are you kidding? Where is that?" And that's all it takes is one person to buy something like that. So I'm not giving up on the pit barrel. I love pit barrel cookers. I think it's the most underrated cooker that I sell. And if people would just give it a chance, just give it a shot, I think I could make believers out of them.
How do you turn the tide if you have inventory, regardless of it's pit barrels, the Badgers, or those Napoleon kettles that you were talking about? How do you turn that tide and get some buyers in there?
Pricing. I've got the pit barrel cooker on sale, $339, and I've bundled it with a bunch of accessories, and I've had some lookers, which is more than I've had. Price drives everything. Once you get it down to a certain price, you'll get rid of it. You just got to gamble and hope you make a little bit of money on it.
What do you look at for the rest of the year? Is there anything that is going to be coming out that you think is really going to hit, or whatever's popular now is probably going to be popular through the rest of the year?
Well, I think the pellet grill will still be our number one. And traditionally, the pellet cookers, at least for us in my area, we blow it away at Christmas time. For some reason, Christmas is our Green Mountain Grill time. It's not. You would think maybe Memorial Day or the July 4th, but it's Christmas, and that area, that time between Thanksgiving and Christmas, really, our sales will hit the roof. We're taking on a new one, a Kamado Joe Connect. I think that's kind of a neat product. We're gonna try that to see if we can, maybe bump the sales in that, and maybe it gets more people into the store. It's all about traffic too, Greg. You got to get more people in the store. We're doing some things to do that. Our Saturdays Our Fridays are just fantastic. But Saturday, I think Saturday ought to be barbecue day. It ought to be,
Yep.
grill day, buying stuff day. And our Saturdays are a little slow. So we're doing a few things to get more foot traffic in there on Saturdays.
Is the neighborhood or the community more of sports and getting out of the city on a Saturday versus looking to stay around and use their discretionary dollars to feed the barbecue addiction?
No, they're pretty much stay at home. We got, with Chattanooga is in a great spot geographically. We're close to Knoxville, a lot of Tennessee fans, Nashville, Vandy, Georgia, down in Athens, and of course Alabama, just down there in Tuscaloosa. Everywhere, 2.5, 3 hour drive. Knoxville's only an hour and 20 minutes from here. But the people that do stay home, they do cook out, and they do sofagating is big in this town. Not so much tailgating, but staying at home, watching the game, and we really do well during the football season. We always kick off with a chicken wing promotion where we sell chicken wings, and that always goes good, and that kind of kicks everything off.
So here's the speculatory question that I have to ask you. If you are blowing it out of the water Christmas time with Green Mountain grills, which are always going to be more expensive than a pit barrel or the Napoleon kettle or especially the Badger barrel, why are people willing to spend $1,000-ish on a pellet cooker and not $299 on a pit barrel cooker?
Because, Greg, the person that buys the grill at Christmas is the mother or the grandmother. She doesn't know the difference between a cooker and a dishwasher. She just knows that her son wants a cooker, and they will come in and they'll just trust me, and they'll say, which is the best one, or which is the most expensive one? That's the one I want to get him. It's this one right here. Put it in the box, or wrap it up the box, or hold it till Saturday when my husband comes back and we'll come pick it up. That's the bottom line. They're not looking for a cooker. They're looking for a gift that happens to be a cooker. And that's that's where we step in and try to help them.
There is an aversion to charcoal.
A little out of some people, younger people, there is definitely, and there's younger people. It's an aversion.
Can you define
to cooking?
Younger people?
Anybody under 40, not you. Okay. Did you get the big half century?
Indeed.
Well, and they're more interested in, will it hook up to my telephone? If I can cook on something and I can run down to the Walmart and buy groceries, and when I run into my friend, I go, look, I'm cooking at my house. Look at my phone. Look at my phone. Look at that. That's what they want to do. They really don't care. When they come back, hopefully the pork butt's done. If it's a fail, that's okay. They just want to know that they can hold their telephone and run their grill. That's the biggest thing to them. And hopefully on that Kamado Joe Connect, they'll appreciate that as part of that item.
So I want to get back to that here in a second, because I saw you make a couple posts about using that. Maybe they were giving you a demo run or whatever, but just keeping with the GMG just for one more second. What's the status on inventory, new grills? What are you hearing, if at anything, from Green Mountain Grill corporate?
Nothing from Green Mountain Grill, because we have a distributor now. My store's in that weird place where we didn't have a distributor. We bought everything directly from Jason. We've got a distributor now, Palm Coast down in Florida. And I got a call yesterday from Daniel down there, and he said they've got the grills in. So they've rolled in finally. And he said, I asked him, I said, how's the inventory? He goes, the inventory's great. There's a few items they haven't got, igniters, things like that, things that we need to give people that break. But that's okay. But they do have inventory, and we're gonna put it in order next couple of days. So ordering right now is, you can get by on what you have. At least I can get by on what I have. But I'll have to be getting ready for Christmas now, because once once September, October roll around, they're gonna get short again.
I talked to
But
Wes.
I'm a believer.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm a believer in GMG. I'm going to stick with them. I think it's a great product. I use it here at my house. I use it at the store. It's done me well. And when nobody would talk to me in 2020 about grills, they talked to me,
Yep.
and I always remember that, and I appreciate that.
I talked to Wes Wright a number of months ago when the Connected Joe was just being introduced, and we hypothesized on success. And then earlier in the year, I believe it was, maybe it was later last year, I had Christy Van over on the show, and she got hands-on with the Connected Joe and gave me some of her initial thoughts. So as somebody who's in the retail business, none of those people are in the retail sales space, obviously, but you are. So as somebody who's seen it, you are a competition cook, you've competed. I mean, you know what you're doing. You're not some guy that's just here to make some money, and you don't have any hands-on knowledge with the product. You know exactly how to cook barbecue, and you've cooked on a number of different cookers. What do you think about Connected Joe? What do you think about the ceramic industry in general? And then how does the connected portion bring together a potential bridge for new consumers to get into the ceramic arena?
I think everybody who cooks, especially backyard people, because that's my focus is backyard people. I had an egg one time. I did not like it. I could not control it. I would try to, when I'd get that little door just right and I'd get the daisy wheel just right, I'd go in and get the meat. I had the thing at 285. I'd run in and get the pork butt and come back out. The wind had blown. It was at 650 degrees, and here we go again. And I just never really got into it. But I always thought they looked cool, and I always thought that when you could cook on them, they really made good food. That's why I'm excited about the Connect. Is it takes all the it takes the wind variable out of your cook, and it keeps that at a constant temperature. We demoed it when the sales guy came up. He demoed it last week, and I was really impressed. Number one, how easy it was. And number two, how easily the temperature went up and the temperature went down. That's the main thing on a ceramic cooker is once the temperature goes up, it takes an act of God to get it to come back down. And that's what I liked about this.
And
I'm excited about it. Does it
start the charcoal too?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. It sure does. You pour it in there and you just hit the button, program it, hit the button again to set it, and walk away, man. It's boom. And you can use it without the connectivity too. If you just want to, be He-Man woman hater, you can just go out there and start it without the stuff too. So it's either way.
So if you're not going to use it with, if you're not going to use something, you might. If you're not going to use it with the temperature portion of it, is there a vent on the bottom for you to run it old school? Then is that what happens?
Sure is. And it's got a little. I don't know what they call theirs. It's like a daisy wheel at the top, but I don't know what they call theirs. But you set it. This thing even tells you when you start it, you close that door at the bottom because your fan takes over, and it even tells you on the little TV screen down there at the bottom where to set the top vent on what there's like 4 lines on it.
Yeah,
and it tells you which line to set it on, so you can get the exact temperature you want. It's pretty cool. We just did hamburger. We just grilled on it. We haven't done a long cook or anything like that. But we're going to get it out Saturday. We're going to do some chicken wings on it and see how it works and kind of do a day-long demo with it. And
how many
wings.
think you'll bring in?
4. I bought 4, and I bought. It's got a real neat rotisserie that comes you can buy, and let's see. I bought the covers. I bought the rotisserie, and there's this thing the pizza oven is called the Dojo. That's what it is, the Dojo, and that's the pizza oven. So I think I bought 2 each, something like that, and we'll have those there, and we'll look at other accessories down the line.
You do a lot of pizza stuff in the store?
Not as much as I used to. During the pandemic, pizza was all the rage.
Yeah.
It's funny you asked that question last week. Do you think that the griddle was going to, was going to still stay strong? And I voted yes. I think the griddle market's real strong. I think the pizza oven market, I think though, is going to be the one that kind of goes downhill because we don't sell near the pizza. We've got mat stuff in the store, and we just don't sell near the supplies that we used to. We got a bunch of because I really stocked up on peels and accessories, and there a lot of them are still sitting there too, and they were flying off the shelf in 22, 23. But that's okay.
Any Labor Day events coming up here that you want to start promoting in case people are going to be around the store?
We'll do something. I haven't really planned that far ahead, but we'll do something. Who knows? We may get somebody to come out there and sing and have like a little tailgate party. Of course, Tennessee plays on the 31st, so that'll be kind of our big day, is when Tennessee and we pay. Tennessee plays the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga that day, so there'll be double interest in our area because Chattanooga is going to go to Knoxville, so that'll be a big football day here.
You have a show this week?
Did I? Yeah, I did. Yeah, last night.
Last night? Who was on last night?
Yeah. Well, Pat was supposed to be on, but he no-showed me, and
no call, okay. No show.
No, these guys.
By the way, I don't know if anybody knows.
He's a young guy. He's under 40. Under 40.
Steve is talking about Pat Bertoletti, hot dog eating champion from the Brooklyn contest.
Right, of the world. Nathan's hot dog eating champion of the world.
Of the world, yeah.
He lives in Chicago, and he's an hour behind us. And I don't think he understands how time works because he's under 40.
He only works in 10-minute increments?
Yeah. They just don't understand that that the time actually changes when you go to different regions of the country. So I wanted to get him on because he's going to do there's a big Wendy's chicken nugget contest in New York this Friday coming up, and then he's going to do that. So hopefully we'll get him on next Monday and do a recap of that because he holds one of the records of boneless chicken wings. I can't remember. I've got it somewhere, but it's he's a world record holder in one of those chicken eating contests.
All right.
He's a nice kid.
We'll tune in to the show next Monday, and hopefully Pat's back and has a additional championship that he can talk to you about. In the meantime, this is Steve Ray from Owl's Nest Barbecue Supply. The website is owlsnestbbq.com. Steve, always appreciate the time and continued success.
My pleasure. Thanks, Greg.
That's Steve Ray right there, our pal. So if you're going to be around Ooltewah and you're driving, you have some car issues or you would like some gas, go to Steve Ray's Midnight Oil. And then on the same property, you got the supply store as well for your barbecue items that you want or need or both. And as he said, Green Mountain Grills are ruling the day out there right now. So I'm just looking at the poll. Ted Conrad's ready to go. We'll get to him here in just 1 second. Before we get to him, I'm asking you this. Aside from, is Joe Martinez really Martin Martinez? I'm asking you if you're tired of settling for mediocre grilling experiences, and the answer is yes. It's time to step your game up. Bring the ultimate flavor and cooker to the backyard barbecues. Pits and Spits charcoal grills offering the highest quality live fire cooking experience you can get in the market today. Using either wood or charcoal, their solid fuel grills produce those classic flavors you're looking for when you have the time to fire up the grill and cook for family and friends. With a large adjustable fuel tray, you can raise and lower the fire to control and fine-tune the heat. Their take on the very popular Santa Maria style grill. Check them out online, pitsandspits.com/BBQ Central. That's pitsandspits.com/BBQ Central. You can also use promo code Charcoal Central for $150 off any charcoal grill that they sell. That's promo code Charcoal Central for $150 off any charcoal grill. Visit pitsandspits.com/BBQ Central. And remember, when you are spelling out Pits and Spits, it's the double T on the pits and the spits. We're back with Ted Conrad of Fireboard right after this. Stick around. Be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Howard Stern, Jim Rome, Dan Patrick, and Greg Rempe. The Mountain Rushmore of talk show entertainment. Now, let's get back to the Barbecue Central Show.
We thank Steve Ray for joining us last segment. OwlsNestBarbecue.com, his website. This portion of the show, coincidentally enough, being brought to you by Fireboard 2, Fireboard 2 Drive, Fireboard Pro, Fireboard Spark, Fireboard Beacon, and the new Fireboard Pulse. You can connect up to 6 different temperatures. You can monitor up to 6 different temperatures simultaneously. You can connect via Wi-Fi for cloud-based monitoring or Bluetooth. Smart speaker accessible as well. You find out more by visiting fireboard.com, or you call with questions 816-945-2232. And as luck would have it, my next guest on the show was on the show last week, where we were talking about the launch of the aforementioned Pulse wireless thermometer. We had a bit of a tech hang-up at the beginning of the segment, and there were some things that I wanted to ask him about, but time evaporated. But as luck would have it, he is available again this evening for this segment. So we are happy to welcome back our friend and co-founder of Fireboard, Ted Conrad. Ted, great to have you back again this evening. As luck would have it, aside from your availability, we have a completely new YouTube poll question of the week that we're asking everybody, which is this: is Joe Martinez really Martin Martinez? Yes or no?
I'm going to say yes.
Yes. Well, 58% of the YouTube voting public in agreement with you. The previous guest, Steve Ray, saying that Joe Martinez is indeed actually Martin Martinez. However, Joe Martinez is weighing in on Facebook, saying that the answer to the YouTube poll question of the week is actually no. But what does Joe Martinez know? Obviously not much. Martin Martinez, Joe Martinez, since they have never been seen together, we have no proof that they are actually individual folks. So there were some folks last week that had additional questions, and I had some additional questions that I wanted to follow up on as well. So if you don't mind, we can just kind of dive in here. One of the things that I got a lot of questions on through the course of this past week was number of sensors. You're seeing some products on the market that currently have 6 internal sensors. So when you insert it into the meat, it finds the true core temperature, whatever they're calling it these days. Some have 4. How many does the Fireboard have as far as going into the meat probe?
Yeah. Hey, Greg. Well, first of all, thanks for having us back. It's always fun to be on here. So we technically have 3 internal sensors. So 3 sensors in that section of the probe that would go into the meat. Now, we're not, just to be clear, I know some of the probes that are out there make a pretty concerted effort to kind of have these spread out sensors and to kind of guide you through, what the different temperatures are throughout the meat. That's really not what we're doing. I guess, for lack of a better way to put it, we're probably just keeping it simple. I think really it's just the internal temperature of the meat. I think people will learn pretty quickly how to use the product in terms of how far they want to stick it in and what they're trying to measure, and depending on what the meat cut is, right? And if you have a large piece of meat, you want to probe a certain part of it, whatever. It's pretty easy to figure out. There are 3 sensors in there. We've experimented with using the 3 sensors in different ways. Honestly, what we found is whether you take 1 sensor, 2 sensors, 3 sensors, all of the temperatures around that whole region of where the board is are basically the same. for all intents and purposes. So, I mean, if you have a large chunk of meat, and I think there's the science behind cooking, right? So obviously you're going to have that outside temperature get hot and it's slowly going to drift its way towards the middle. But in terms of the smaller section of where are actually, the printed circuit board part that's embedded in that probe, most of that region is more or less the same temperature. So we're kind of keeping it simple. So there's 3 sensors there. There's a 4th one, which is we call it an ambient, but it's essentially that section of our probe that's kind of like on that outside region where it's not inside the meat. So it's supposed to just give somebody a little bit of an indication of what that ambient temperature is. It's not perfect. If you have a cold piece of meat, that's going to influence the temperature around it, but at least gives you an idea of kind of what the temperature is close to the piece of meat.
That was a follow-up question that I was going to have a little later in the interview was, I think ThermoWorks has gone out of their way. So they're kind of launching around the same time frame that you guys are launching. And so we're able to see these 2 competing companies talk about, great features and benefits. Both look like great products, of course, but they went out of their way to say, well, we didn't put a sensor on the part that's going to stick out of the meat for exactly the reason that you were saying, because you're going to get false readings and they don't believe in even trying to do that. So they just didn't even put an ambient probe on there. So you guys are along the same mindset. So are you putting it on there because you think that the public would like to see something along the lines of that on there, or what's the thought of putting it there?
Yeah. And Greg, this is, if you don't mind, I just might throw this in here real fast. I mean, I respect ThermoWorks a lot. I mean, they're a great company. I don't know a ton about their company structure. I haven't really met many of the people there, but they make great products. And so I think my view of this is there's more than there's more to this business than just 1 or 2 companies, right? I mean, I feel like they've got great products. We have great products. And we can both have really great products, and I think all of our customers will enjoy using Fireboard products. They'll enjoy using ThermoWorks products, and they can have both and whatever. So anyway, that's sort of my view on just the competition. I feel like a rising tide lifts all boats, right? They make us better. Maybe we make them better. I don't know, but anyway, so I guess they've chosen not to show that temperature, or not to have a sensor there, which I think makes sense. From our perspective, it was a little bit of a toss-up, and we said, well, if we have the sensor there, we can educate people on what that reading really is. So if you're running, let's say you're cooking a brisket, right? And you've got a relatively large chunk of meat, and you're gonna, the meat comes out of the refrigerator, it's probably 40 degrees, whatever. You put our sensor, you put the pulse in there, there's going to be a section of that probe that's exposed and sticking out of the meat. That's where the antenna is. That's how the signal gets out, right? And there's also a little sensor there. Well, you're between 1 inch and 2 inches, maybe 2.5 inches away from that cold chunk of meat. And if you're cooking at 250, you're not going to be reading 250 next to the piece of meat, but you might be reading 220 or 230. So I think our view was, once you kind of start using the product, you kind of get a feel for, okay, well, it's probably 20 degrees low or 30 degrees low. And that way, if people understand what's going on, I mean, in my view of this is sort of, this isn't like SpaceX, we're sending a rocket to Mars and back, but it's just, hey, it's 20 degrees cooler, it's 30 degrees cooler, it's no big deal. People know what that is, they understand it, and they just take that into account.
Maybe the more important part on this end of the wireless thermometer product is this. What kind of extreme, consistent temperature can it face before it melts down?
Well, that's probably the $1 million question, or I guess maybe there's, I think the big questions have been like the range. And then the other big question is, what is the upper extreme temperature? Yeah. And so what we are publishing as our official specification is a high of 662 Fahrenheit. So that's
let's not get, why don't be too specific.
Yeah.
662.
Well, this is science, right? We're a
Yeah.
tech company. We're all
Yep.
a bunch of geeks. So, so 662 is our upper temperature limit on that region that's exposed outside the meat. Now, there's a little bit of not a trick, but this is sort of just based on our testing and our understanding of kind of how the thermal mass and how temperatures change. We have a large piece of ceramic, like it's a little round disc, I guess you could call it. Maybe a donut is a better word. And that ceramic has a lot of thermal mass. And so you expose that to high temperature, it's not going to immediately get hot, right? So it's going to take some period of time. So what we're telling people is we have a searing maximum temperature of 806 degrees Fahrenheit for 3.5 minutes. And, to be honest, Greg, you probably could get away with a little bit more than that, but that's our official spec is we're going to specify what we call a searing temperature. So a searing max. So we get that question all the time, right? Hey, if I'm searing a steak, what is the high temperature this can go up to? And the simple answer is, hey, you can go higher than our published high temperature, but you can't stay at that high temperature for a long period of time. So it's a little complicated, but hopefully it's not too complicated to put out there for people to kind of get their arms around.
When we look at, so you were talking about the rising tide lifting all ships. I don't want to put you in a spot where it gets weird, but if you look at, so let's say I don't even know if people realize how many wireless thermometer options that are actually out there. I mean, there is quite a number of them. But in my estimation, we're looking at what is going to be tantamount to 3. You got the meter that's been around forever. You're going to have the ThermoWorks. We now have Fireboard, and then you have the combustioning. So I guess that's 4 in total that really appear to be up here. And then you have a lot of other stuff that is having tremendous amount of connection issues, this and that. If you look at the other 3 and then you're comparing where the Fireboard is there a lot more similarities to the other stuff, or are there more significant differences to the in the Fireboard product that you're going to find with the other 3?
Well, the biggest differentiator is the fact that we're dual band. So we've stuffed not one radio into this really, really crazy small thing, but we've stuffed 2 radios. It was funny, that's kind of a tangent, but I was in a car with my dad briefly over lunch today. I picked him up and we were driving home, and I had some of the Pulse wireless probes sitting in my truck. And he looked at it, he's like, hey, is that your new wireless probe? And I said, yeah. And I said, he's like, well, how does it work? And I said, well, you just stick it in the meat, you don't have to do anything, and there's no wires. And he kind of looked at it, and I said, well, the circuit board is inside that metal tube. He's like, really? There's a circuit board inside? My dad's an intelligent guy. He would practice law, and then he was a ham radio guy. So I kind of get my nerdiness, tech stuff maybe from all those days in the basement with the ham radio stuff.
Yeah.
But so he was really amazed that you're able to cram a little circuit board, and it really is amazing, but we've managed to cram 2 radios on that, so you've got the circuits to drive the radios, you've got the components that connect to the antenna, then you have the antennas themselves. So it's all stuffed in there. And I think the fact that we have both, we have the low frequency, which gives you the nice range. And then we have the Bluetooth, which gives you the backwards compatibility with all the Fireboard products. And it gives you the kind of flexibility and I guess easy connectivity, if you will, with your cell phone, that you can just pull out your cell phone, the Fireboard app, and you can connect right to these devices. So you kind of have the best of both worlds. And I think that's kind of what sets us apart.
For the folks that are tuning in tonight, didn't hear it last week, can you give us a refresh on rollout and price points?
Yep. So Fireboard Pulse, the probe itself comes with a charger. The charger is itself rechargeable. So it's kind of a funny scenario where we had to develop a wireless probe. We had to develop a charger for the wireless probe, which was a little, probably more complicated than I thought. But it's a great little accessory product, if you call it that. So the charger comes with the probe, or I guess should say the probe comes with the charger, and that's $149. And we are planning on shipping at the end of August. Literally, production is ramping up. A lot of stuff going on, a flurry of activity as with any new product. And we're going to phase out that launch. So we're not going to have this sort of, buy it now, add to your cart right away. But we're going to be inviting, and we already have invited quite a few Fireboard existing customers. And we're sending those out as emails with like a invitation code. So you can check out, you can pre-order. And I think that was a way of just making sure that we can plan for the demand. We can make sure that we can meet our, supply. Cause we build these things in Kansas City, so that's always a fun part of our story at Fireboard is, we're doing the printed circuit board assembly right here in Kansas City. And this, being a small circuit board, is not easy to do. So we want to make sure, we can meet the demand.
Is this something that pairs with an Alexa? Or if your Fireboard is already paired with it, since the Pulse can talk to the Fireboard, all you got to do is ask Alexa what's the pulse temperature or something like that?
Yep. Well, any of the Fireboard products work with Alexa because Alexa essentially talks to our Fireboard cloud. And the Fireboard cloud is then able to communicate with Alexa. Mm-hmm. So yeah, all that stuff works the same way as any other Fireboard would work.
Last week, you also mentioned that in short order, there would be, were you calling it a gateway or a router modem, whatever, that was going to also be introduced in fairly short order?
We're calling it a bridge. So it literally is just that. It's a bridge from what we call our S1G technology. So it's the low frequency. It's essentially 900 megahertz. So it's just below 1 gigahertz. So it bridges that 900 megahertz, which is the long range signal, to a standard Wi-Fi connection, which the once you get Wi-Fi, then obviously you're on the Fireboard cloud. So the idea is you could buy a bridge, and we haven't settled on the price. It's probably $70, $80, $90, something like that. The bridge can just sit in your house, kind of like a wireless router. And then all of your S1G Fireboard products will be able to connect to the bridge.
And then more products coming out in the future, as you talked about, a veritable ecosystem coming down the pike.
Yeah, for sure. Yep. We've, for several years, I think our feeling is we need to keep kind of innovating and keep pushing the product pipeline forward. So it's hopefully, well, who knows? We'll see what this year brings. But I mean, the Pulse was that was a little challenging. And production's challenging too. So we haven't rounded that yet. So, I mean, we're still pushing on that. We think it's a great product. I mean, I've been using it a lot. We're getting this out. I mean, people are starting to use it more. Sort of our small circle, and then getting it out more. But it's super fun. It's been really challenging though in terms of product launches. Just technically, it's just pretty difficult.
We'll continue to track the progress. We're very excited. A lot of people in the instant chat here very happy with the answers that they got here tonight. So fireboard.com is the website. Pay attention if you're a Fireboard customer for that invite, if you're lucky enough to get one, as the rollout will take some time here. This is our pal Ted Conrad. Ted, appreciate you coming back on, answering those final set of questions here to make sure that everybody has the best information for their buying decisions, and continued success on the release of the Pulse.
Thank you, Greg. Great to be here.
You got it. Ted Conrad right there. Fireboard.com/Pulse is the direct website if you would like to save all time and get there expressly. All right, so that's good. So there is a sensor on the opposite end of where the normal internal meat sensors are going to be. You got 800 plus degrees for 3 minutes for searing, if you would like to do that. I'm kind of coming back off the ultra high temperature sear. I don't know if that's necessary anymore, especially after Chris Young had talked about 350, 400 degrees is all you really need in the end to get the brownie. But we'll see how that goes. Before we wrap the first hour, we talk about our pals over at Primo Grills. What do we love about ceramic cookers? We love that they're fuel efficient. We love that you can achieve low and slow temperatures for traditional barbecue meats. And we love that you can get rip-roaring hot for the traditional high-temperature grilling of steaks and other thin cuts. But what's missing in the everyday lineup of ceramic cookers? The real ability to do true two-zone cooking. Two-zone cooking is very important to both professionals and backyard cooks alike. The best way to manage a fire, cook with confidence. And you can get that with the oval design that Primo Grills gives you. Only sold through dealers. Find one near you by visiting the website and then clicking on the dealer locator, primogrill.com. That's primogrill.com. And then this past weekend, there was a surprise 50-year birthday party for me. I didn't really know what was going on. Over the course of the week, it was, we're going to have to cook 8 racks of ribs on Saturday. Well, I can throw a handful on the Traeger, but just the Primo or just the Traeger isn't going to work. So fired up the Traeger, yes, but then fired up the Primo in addition. 4 racks on the Traeger, 4 racks on the Primo. What did I use on the Primo? The Fireboard 2 Drive. Worked like a charm. Put it at 275. I really had that thing dialed in now. I'm so happy. Don't bother getting just a automatic pit temperature control device anymore for the Primo. Get a Fireboard 2 Drive. I'll teach you all about it. You're going to knock it out of the park. It's so good. It's the best. Primogrill.com. That's primogrill.com. By the way, people over the moon. So I had half the racks of ribs in the Traeger, half the racks in the Primo. And the Primo went 4 ribs to 1. People fighting over the remaining Primo ribs. A flavor very unique, so good. I mean, I knocked it out of the park. What can I say? I'm a great rib cook. Let's wrap the first hour. What do you say? Stick around. We'll be right back.
Continuing to produce incredibly mediocre content in an exceptionally professional way. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
And we thank Ted Conrad from Fireboard for joining us. Fireboard.com/pulse if you would like to go see the Pulse. And remember, you can't just go buy it. It is invite only at the moment as they get it rolling out. He says it has been a difficult rollout, to say the least. So make sure they're controlling that to give the best customer experience possible. They're going to do a rollout that they can manage. So look for an invite. Check your spam filters every day if you're a longtime Fireboard customer, and they'll make sure that they shoot you over an invite if you meet that criteria. I haven't got mine yet. What? I'm still waiting. I am shocked at the YouTube poll question of the week. I thought for sure it would spin back. Joe Martinez in the chat is vehemently denying that he is Martin Martinez, but we have no way to prove that. Guy the Cooking Sam is going in saying, if you say hello Joe, as in hello Alexa, because he was asking if Alexa pairs with the wireless, with the Pulse. If you say hello Joe, will it pair to Martin? Well played, guy. Well played. All right, we are pointing to the second hour. We will get you a update on that aforementioned YouTube poll question of the week. We'll get you a Famous Dave's All-Star Barbecue Series update. Diane Mee's cooking partner Lance has not gotten his invite yet to the Pulse. Be on the lookout, Diane. I can't guarantee it, but if he's a great customer, if he has spend Like at the Rolex deal, you got to have spend to get a Rolex, right? You can't just walk in and buy a watch if you can believe. It's like the Fireboard. If you got spend, maybe you get that invite. We'll see. All right, stick around. We'll be right back.
This is Jimmy Burns from Malvern, Ohio, and you're listening to Barbecue Central.
Happy to have you aboard here for the really big barbecue show.
Boing.
We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Hit me!
Fine, how's it going?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan.
Boing.
So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle. Charbono! It's all about the Charbono, dude!
Succulent fish, what?
He ate 54 wieners. So listen, Lavernius, shake the face.
I'm shaking like a dog shit peach seeds.
We have top men working on it right now. Top men.
And just like that, we are into the second hour. The Barbecue Central show is where we are. You have found us here, kicking off the 10 o'clock hour Eastern time on July 23rd. Remember, we do it live.
We'll do it live.
Right here every Tuesday night from 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern. The show coming to you from
Palm City, USA, Cleveland.
So to come on the show this evening, the embedded correspondents will start filing in sooner than later. We have a huge 100% Assurity Questions list that we're going to be getting through, aside from some other topics if time allows. We say good evening to those of you watching tonight through one of our video streaming platforms. You can go to facebook.com/BBQ Central Show or twitter.com/BBQ Central Show, or feel free to watch on YouTube, which is youtube.com/BBQ Central Show. Sorry, youtube.com/@BBQ Central Show. We will update you on the YouTube poll question of the week, and we're asking everybody this. Joe Martinez is really Joe Martinez, and 53% of you are saying yes, indeed. You think Joe Martinez is really Martin Martinez. It is clawing back much closer to 50-50 than I thought it was going to. But we'll see what happens. We'll ask the embedded correspondents what they think here in just a matter of minutes. So stay tuned for that. Coming up on the best moments of the Barbecue Central show in 10 minutes or less this coming Friday, episode 343. Bringing you back to the same date of last week's show, June 29th, 2010. Here's what I've learned over the week, if nothing else. Even when you don't directly challenge John Solberg to find a show, you end up with what you wanted. So this week, you will hear the segment that I mentioned last week with the one-time host of Barbecue Pitmasters, Kevin Roberts, a.k.a. Dude Douche. So just to clear a few things up, because I went back and listened to this. It's been a long time since I've listened to this segment. As I'm listening to it, I'm remembering where my thought of or line of questioning was supposed to go. So Kevin does what I would call a preemptive strike on me to the boiling ribs question thing that I was going to be asking him about. That was going to be the lead question in after we got through a little exchange of pleasantries. But he does a preemptive strike on me about boiling ribs. But then He also stakes claim to perhaps inventing the yellow mustard binder thing. I don't know if he specifically said I invented it, but he did say that the yellow mustard thing, that he had been doing that for 5 or 6 years, way, way out in front of mustard as a binder. And then all of a sudden it started picking up popularity. So I think in the interview, he also mentions the fact that he was hoping years down the road that people will talk about boiling ribs. He was that far in front of mustard as a binder. Maybe he's this far in front of parboiling ribs. Kevin, I can tell you this, 15 years later, no one is doing that in the industry at all. No, sir. So while you hit a home run, while you may or may not have invented mustard as a binder, it was a swing and a miss with the parboiling of ribs catching on within the barbecue and grilling industry. Maybe it's caught on with your grandma or your great-grandma when they used to parboil meat. But if you're in this space, you're not parboiling anything. The only time you're using water is doing a tallow cook of some sort, whether it be pork fat or beef fat or something. You put water on the fat. Other than that, I don't know why you would be parboiling any. I mean, you shouldn't be. It just boils all the fat and the flavor right out of the meat, so don't even bother doing it. I mentioned it to my mother-in-law a number of weeks ago, and I got like a side eye. You can you can subscribe to the show by visiting thebbqcentralshow.com/subscribe if you would like to hear the Best Moment Show, because you can only hear the Best Moment Show on the podcast feed. And don't forget, if you would like to hear a guest or segment that you think has been lost in the archives, you can email John, Jon, at thebbqcentralshow.com and let him know what you would like to hear. The Famous Dave's All-Star Barbecue Series rolled into... That time seems off to me. What's going on? All right, we'll leave it at that. The Famous Dave's All-Star Barbecue Series rolled into Louisville, Kentucky this past weekend, a city that I love and adore. I've been there many times, eaten in many different places. The results as follows: Grand Champion, the team you may or may not have heard of, Great White Smoke. Reserve Grand Champion, also a team you may or may not have heard of, Furlong's Smoke and Seafood. Yes, of course. Both Great White Smoke and Furlong's Smoke and Seafood have now qualified for the 2024 World Food Championships in the barbecue division, on top of taking first and second place at the local Louisville, Kentucky's Famous Dave's All-Star Barbecue Series. As we know, the World Food Championships taking place in my favorite city across the nation, Indianapolis, Indiana, this coming November, middle of November, maybe middle end. Next Famous Dave's All-Star Barbecue Series event is coming up this Saturday, July 27th, in the metropolis known as Taylor, Michigan. This event is full, so you can't get in. The Columbia, Maryland event on August 24th, which is the last event of this whole series, still showing as having one spot left open, but that's the only one between now and then. So you have about 1 month left, and you have only one spot left open, which is August 24th in Columbia, Maryland. You can find out past results and the remaining schedule of future events by visiting worldfoodchampionships.com/allstars. I'm concerned that I'm even going to be talking about this. By the way, poll question clawing creepily back to 50-50, which I don't think I like. Let me get back on track here. I don't even know if I want to mention this because I don't even want to encourage anybody to try it, but I think I saw it on John's Instagram reel at some point. I also saw it on Rashid Phillips' Instagram reel about a week and a half ago. which is a lady in a drum smoker, but it's not a stand-up drum. This one's on the side, cut in half on the hinges. Looks like a char griller, something along these lines, if you know what I mean. The barrel type smoker that way, or cooker, charcoal grill. On the bottom, charcoal. Over the top of the charcoal, the following: many different many different vegetables, onions, things like this. Also, garlic cloves, barbecue rub, a ton of barbecue rub. And the charcoal's not lit, and she's showing you what she's going to be doing before she lights the charcoal, talking about if it smells this good now, you can only imagine what kind of flavor perfume this thing is going to put on the meat once we get it up and running. If you're new to the game, folks, I'm here to tell you this. There's a lot of things you shouldn't do. Perhaps there's so many things that you shouldn't do, you could actually rate them by 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This has got to be right up in the top 1 or 2. 1 is never cook without a thermometer. Number 2 has got to be don't season your charcoal. I'm going to go out on a limb and say this lady wasn't even going to be using a charcoal chimney. She was going to go lighter fluid all over the charcoal and then throw the match on it. So whatever benefit that you think you're getting from putting barbecue rub on your charcoal, thinking that's going to create some type of flavorful smoke on your meat, that's just not happening. And then I'm pretty sure you're probably going to douse it with lighter fluid before. And so that's going to eliminate anything that's also potentially going to add a flavor profile that I'm not too akin with if you don't let that burn off all completely, which most people don't. There's many things going wrong. So I think it might have already fallen out of trend. And I'm hoping mentioning this doesn't bring it back on. But you will know it when you see it. The charcoal that has been rubbed down with barbecue. Why not take $20 $1 bills and then just lay them all down on top of the charcoal and then add your lighter fluid there, light it up? It's the same effect. You're wasting money. It's not really adding any flavor at all. It just goes up very quickly. Please don't do this. I also have a question. Completely unrelated. This is, are you a good guy or gal meter? A couple weeks ago, run a U-Haul, 14-footer, load a couch, some other stuff in, move Bobby into her new apartment that she's going to be staying at down in Greensburg. And you know, with the U-Haul, they're charging $1 a mile. So I'm looking up and back 320 miles. Quick math tells you $320 on the mileage plus $35 to rent it. When I get the truck, anyway, we can negotiate the mileage. It cuts me a magnificent deal of 79 cents a mile. Thank you. When I get back, and this was up and back same day. So I get back and I get an email. This is your final invoice. Total of $55. Look, I think I have stated on many occasions and shown on many occasions, I am no math major. I am no rocket scientist like our pal Doug Scheiding is. But even I can do the simple math of 315 miles at 79 cents a mile is going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of $250. And then tack on $35 in rental. And that bill's got to be close to $300 total dollars, if not more, depending on tax. And I'm out at $55. So the question is, would you do what I did? Would you call in and say, hey, I'm torn. I don't know if I should be calling in or not because I don't want to eat the other $250 that I think is coming my way, but I just want to let you know. This bill is wrong. I drove to Pittsburgh and back, and there's no way this $55 bill is right. And she said on the phone to me, we checked the odometer out. We checked it back in. Those are the miles. This invoice is right. And I said, well, I'm not going to sit here and argue with you, but please know that the invoice is 100% wrong. And I just want you to know I'm here to make it right if that's what you want to do. And she said, no, that's not anything that you should be concerned about. If we're wrong in the end, then you're not somebody that should be punished for. So I said, okay, fine. And I hung it up. I felt much better as a human because I did think about it for a few fleeting moments that I should make them learn a hard lesson. And I shouldn't say anything to them, but I figured I'd be the better person. So in the instant chat, I'll ask the guys here in a moment, if you were in my situation, would you call back and say the invoice is wrong and I'm giving you a chance to make it right? Everybody's piled in, if you can believe it. There's Rusty, there's Matt, there's John, there's Doug. It's a full slate of embedded correspondents here this evening. Happy to see that. Before we get to them, we talk about the lovely, the talented, the one that creates all the conversations on the cul-de-sac, in the yard, housing development, whatever you live in. The Franklin Barbecue Pit. What you have with the Franklin Pit, a deeply thought out and refined version of the old propane-style cookers that Aaron Franklin has built and used in his restaurant, Franklin Barbecue. Stylistically, it reflects the kind of bare-bones, industrial, handmade aesthetic that he loves, as in the patina and the way the build allows you to see the welds and the craftsmanship. So many things differentiate this kind of a pit versus what you would find at a big box retailer. Those skimp on thickness, skimp on heaviness of material. You have thin metal that wicks away the heat, can't control, maintain temperature, becomes very maddening. Next thing you know, you have a $200 flower pot on the tree lawn, ready for trash pickup. The Franklin Pit, made with 5/16 and quarter-inch thick steel, and American-made at that. That's strong. Anything that sees heat is engineered to be incredibly solid, should last a century or more if cared for properly. Remember, the thickness of the steel guarantees professional-grade heat retention, a critical component in making great barbecue. Franklin Pits can be found at barbecue specialty stores in select regions of the country, like Steve Ray's Owl's Nest Barbecue Supply in Ooltewah, Tennessee, a certified Franklin Barbecue Pit dealer. If you are a listener of the show and you are like Steve, you have a store, you wish to become a certified Franklin dealer, visit this website, franklinbbqpits.com, and fill out the dealer form. If you're the listener of the show, you would like a Franklin Pit, but you live nowhere near a certified dealer, you can visit franklinbbqpits.com and purchase a pit right there. Franklin Pits will ship a Franklin Pit right to your driveway. A couple different options. Go see Steve Ray, or if you're in Ohio, go to Hartsville Hardware. They're also certified dealers. Or if you're nowhere near them or the other certified dealers, just go online and order a DTC. Why not? We are back with the Embedded Correspondents in full force right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Howard Stern, Jim Rome, Dan Patrick, and Greg Rampey. The Mountain Rushmore of talk show entertainment. Now, let's get back to the Barbecue Central Show.
Welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by Pit Barrel Cooker, the most unbelievable outdoor cooking device on the planet, currently available in 3 sizes with a host of accessories to choose from. It doesn't matter if you're a beginner or a professional, it's a cooker you want to add to the arsenal. You visit pitbarrelcooker.com, and then you tell them the Barbecue Central Show sent you and see what happens from there. Joining me in the second hour, you know them, you love them, Fourth Tuesday, second hour at that, the Embedded Correspondents. We have a Doug Scheiding from Texas to my direct right, and 2 down from my right is John Solberg from the great state of Michigan. Hey, there he is, Rusty Monson from the great city of Utah, directly below me. And then catty corner off of my square is none other than Matt Osmond, embedded correspondent from Tennessee. So glad everybody is in here for the month of July as we're getting ready to wrap it up, if you can believe it or not. Guys, we're going to start with a couple non-Assurity questions because that's what we have kind of come to do here, answer questions directly on this show. Doug, on the YouTube poll question of the week, Joe Martinez is really Martin Martinez, yes or no?
I have changed my answer as I've listened to this show. The answer is no.
John, Joe Martinez is Martin Martinez.
I'm going with no.
Matt, Joe Martinez is Martin Martinez.
Sticking to my guns. 100% yes.
Rusty, what say you?
I watched enough Scooby-Doo to know that he is, in fact, Martin.
Wow. This is insane because as we sit right now on the YouTube results, it is 50-50 saying yes and no equally that Joe is or is not both one and the same person. I'm not here to break the tie because I know I have only seen Joe and I have never seen Martin, which could lead me to believe that indeed Joe is Martin. So maybe I've broken the tie there and swung it 51 in the other way. Also, we have a follow-up question to the hot take I was just giving as we led into this segment, which was if you had the same U-Haul rental experience I did where you know your bill should be sizably more, do you call in after you get that final invoice through email to the dealer and say, hey, this is wrong and I'm here to make good? Do you make that phone call? Doug, yes or no?
Yes.
John?
100% yes.
Rusty, yes?
No, screw the man.
Yeah. Matt, yes or no?
I gotta say no, but I'd flip a coin is what I'd do.
Wow. All right. Well, the answer was obviously yes for me, so the good guys win. I mean, Mr. Positivity is sticking it to the man at the same time. So here we go with 100% Assurity questions, and we got plenty to get to. Rusty, let's start with you since you took the month off last month. By the way, everything is good. I know, we're just having a little fun here, but any quick updates on what's happening with Rusty?
Nah, man, just busy as hell. It's been crazy. I barely made it here today, but
wow,
all should be good for the rest of my life. So all is good in the rest of the world going forward.
Who's breathing into the microphone like a perv?
Someone's got to breathe. Yeah.
Is that you, Matt? Hold on.
Shouldn't be.
Don't anybody do anything different. Hold on. Wait. All right, I was just trying to find it on my own, but I'll keep an ear out. Anyway,
Go
Rusty.
back, check the tape.
Yeah, that's right. Rusty, 100% yes or 100% no. Following up from last month's question, I don't know if you heard the show or not. You have watched at least one episode of either Barbecue Showdown or Barbecue Brawl.
No, man, I don't have time to watch TV. I wish.
I thought of all the people you would have watched at least one, but that is Rusty's
I will.
busy life.
I'm like John. At this point, I'm gonna have to watch it at my retirement home. So
yeah, got it. Doug, 100% yes or 100% no. You have watched at least one episode of either Barbecue Showdown or Barbecue Brawl.
Have them taped, but I haven't watched. No.
Halfway there, though. Matt?
100% yes, and finished.
Wow. Both?
1.5.
Oh, wow. Very good. John, yes or no?
100% no.
I don't know if you saw maybe one episode just to put a flare out there for any reason. No? Okay. I'm also 100% no. And more like John and Rusty, not recorded even, just not watched. But you all know where I stand on barbecue game shows. Matt? 100% yes or 100% no. The ultimate closing of Smokin' Joe's Pit Barbecue in El Paso, Texas came as a surprise to you. Yes or no?
No.
John?
100% no.
Doug, the ultimate closing of Smokin' Joe's Pit Barbecue in El Paso, Texas came as a surprise to you.
Yes, but is it?
No conspiracy on this line of questioning. Rusty, yes or no?
100% yes.
I'm going to align with Doug and Rusty. I thought I would have a different opinion if he would not have released that first line of closing videos. Then he recanted on that. I'm surprised at this point that this is the formal and final closing. I thought there was a lot of other things going on there that were good stuff. But as I said last week, maybe this is when you're an outsider looking in at social media, that's probably only showing the best parts and you're not seeing how the sausage is made, as they would like to say. So I'm a little surprised. So the surprises outnumber the not surprised in that one. We'll go to John for this question. John, the biggest shockwave sent through the barbecue industry so far in 2024 is that Joe's brother Martin is opening a barbecue food truck in El Paso, Texas.
100% no.
Doug, biggest shockwave?
I'm with John and I'm laughing no.
Matt, biggest shockwave in 2024 is that Joe's brother Martin is opening a barbecue food truck in El Paso, Texas.
I got my opposite britches on. 100% yes.
Rusty?
I got my normal human britches on, and I say no.
It's easily the biggest shockwave that has happened in 2024. I have not seen anybody make such a bold decision, and bold, I mean bad, decision to, in the teeth of sharks, decide that he is going to try and do something that he was just a part of something that failed, and we will see how that goes. John? Did we already do you to lead? Who didn't I get to lead off yet? Doug? I think Doug. Doug, let's start with you. 100% yes or 100% no? Martin's barbecue food truck endeavor will fail within the first 12 months of opening, yes or no?
I've changed this answer as well. Yes.
Yes. Matt?
100% yes.
John?
This is a tough one. I don't want it to, so I'm just gonna go like, it's not gonna fail. No, it's not gonna fail. It's gonna make it.
Rusty, Martin's barbecue food truck endeavor will fail within the first 12 months of opening. Yes or no?
100% no.
I'm breaking the tie, and I'm going with John and Rusty. I don't think it's going to fail. Every fiber of my being is saying that it will fail inside of 6 weeks, but I'm saying right here on this show tonight, July 23rd, 2024 at 10:28 p.m., that for whatever reason, I'm going off the reservation and saying that Joe Martin Martinez food truck will make it at least 12 months or longer. I said it, and I'm not taking it back. Doug, you know I live in hypocrisy. You know that, right?
Exactly. You tried to get him on the show. You've got to be in marketing to be in sales and pushing your product, and he wouldn't even come on the show.
I know.
If he can't do that, he's not going to be able to sell anything.
By the way, Joe, I know you're in the chat here tonight. How can you not corral your brother and get him on at 9:14 today so we can have this discussion with? I mean, these are things that people want to know about, and quite frankly, you're losing credibility and respectability by the second that every moment that passes that he's not on the show. So remember that as time wears on. John, 100% yes or 100% no. Specific to spare ribs, you will always take the membrane off the rack before prepping and cooking.
100% no.
Matt?
100,000% yes.
Doug, specific to spare ribs, you will always take the membrane off the rack before prepping and cooking.
On pork spare ribs, 100% yes.
Rusty, membrane ripper?
No, you damn hippies. It's fine. Leave it on. Jesus.
Look, all I know is this. I had an 8-rack spare rib cook on Saturday, and I looked at those 8 racks, and I said, wow, I don't know if I got it in me. But I did it anyway. And after the 8th rack of ribs, I looked at myself and said, this has got to be a question I got to ask my guys on Tuesday, because I feel like I could probably get away with not pulling the membrane on the ribs, and nobody's going to notice except me. Matt, you're a yeser. Are you pulling it for pride only?
I'm pulling it for pride, for cook time, and for flavor penetration.
Doug, similar?
It takes like 10 seconds to do it. So
specific to spare ribs, way more than 10 seconds. Those things do not come off like baby back membranes. Baby back membranes, I'll do it all
30
the time.
seconds.
Maybe a minute.
You slice the first bone, you get a Scott towel and rip it off.
It's somebody, look, Doug, I don't know the last time you did ribs, but as somebody who did it Saturday, I can tell you it's not that easy. John, people just don't recognize, or what?
Hey, yeah, it only takes a second times 96 racks when you're loading the big EL. So you load the bitch up and you run it. Then you slice them and you get them out the shack door, right? Because ain't nobody got time for that. And ain't nobody cares and nobody knows. And you get a little crisp. If you do it right, get a little crispy little bit. And it's like, you got to fucking make money. You got to run the, like, this ain't no contest shit. Jesus Christ. Sorry. Rusty, tell him.
Rusty, jump in.
It's like boiling ribs. It's not a thing. Competition cooks decide they want to take the damn membrane off, and you're all jumping in, thinking it's like you have to do it. One, it doesn't really help with flavor retention because there's bones there. It's not really helping anything. Two, it helps with moisture retention, which is fantastic. And three, most importantly, if you cook them right, you get this little piece of like almost like rib jerky at the end, and it's fantastic. So in every way, that membrane is the best. Oh, yeah, I eat that. If I could, I'd rip that stuff off and sell it like a bag of potato chips.
John, do you eat the membrane?
Yeah, it's on there.
Yeah.
Of course. I mean, I'm not eating a lot of ribs that I'm cooking commercially, but yeah, it's on there. It's getting it's eaten.
Anybody else got any thoughts here before we move along? Go ahead, Doug.
In Texas, it's fall off the bone good, right? So if you have that damn membrane on there, it ain't fall off the bone good because you're like, what the hell is this gristle? Now, in John's case where he's doing 96 million racks of ribs every other day, I totally agree with him. Yeah, I think whatever.
Smoking Joe's Pit Barbecue saying, leave the freaking membrane alone. 100% of barbecue joints leave it on for a reason. And Joe lives in Texas. Now, granted, Joe's business failed. So maybe he should have taken the membrane off the ribs. I mean, I don't want to make any suggestions, Joe, but I mean, I can put 2 and 2 together. We'll move on. Rusty, 100% yes or 100% no. There is no bigger pain in the ass than taking the membrane off of a rack of spare ribs. Yes or no?
I hate to say it, but I'm kind of with Doug. I got to the point where I could do it pretty quickly. So it's not too bad. And sometimes I do get tripped up and it becomes a pain in the ass, but most of the time I can get that off.
All right, so that's a no for him. Doug, no for you?
No.
John?
No, it is not the biggest pain in the ass.
Trending to a unanimous. Matt, 100% yes or 100% no. No bigger pain in the ass than taking the membrane off the rack of spare ribs.
No.
Well, I mean, the answer is yes. 100% yes or 100% no. Matt, you prefer spares over baby backs?
100% yes.
Rusty?
Yeah, a little bit. If I had, yeah, for sure. They're better.
John, you prefer spares over baby backs?
This is like your who's your favorite child question, but I'm going to go yes, I prefer baby bags. If I'm all equal and separate.
You prefer baby backs?
Yes, I prefer baby bags.
Oh, sorry. Hit the wrong sound effect there. Doug, you prefer spares over baby backs?
Absolutely, yes.
And I lovingly prefer spares over baby backs. Let's go to Doug. 100% yes or 100% no. Doug. Wait, can't start with Doug. Matt, let's start with you again. 100% yes or 100% no. You have purchased at least one of Doug's 3 available rubs for sale.
Went all the way to Smyrna, Tennessee. Yes.
Wow. Smyrna, Tennessee.
Wow.
We'll even throw in a DJ horn on that. Rusty, you have purchased at least one of Doug's 3 available rubs for sale.
No, but I want to. I bet they're freaking good.
John?
No, sorry, Doug. I still have it.
John, last month you said it was a mandate that you were going to go and buy at least one bottle somewhere.
Well, I don't need more time. I just need a deadline. I need to set a deadline and make it happen.
We'll set the deadline. We want a full recap of how many bottles of rubs you bought when we reconvene at the end of August. Doug, have you bought any of your own rubs?
Surprisingly, yes, I have. I was sending a few out, and I needed some brisket. I was like, oh, jeez, and so I went into one of my stores, and bought it.
Wow.
So,
do they know who you are when you go in?
Oh, hell yeah. He's like, what are you doing?
You can't just go into the store and just
package
take it and
going
walk
out.
and say, well, I'll get you back
No,
next time? No?
no.
Wow.
No.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you this. I've become a firm, allegiant member of buying Doug's everything rub. Yeah. Your all-purpose rub has become a fast favorite in the house. I went through it a week ago, and I was told I needed to use it at least as one of the 2 layers of rubs that were going on the 8 racks of ribs on Saturday. So I had to buy Doug's all-purpose rub, which, again, my ladies have a discerning palate. I have brought them up to be meat and barbecue snobs of the highest order, so they can appreciate a quality product when they put their mouths on it. Oh, I can't believe I said that out loud. And the rub is hitting everything that they think is good in flavor. Luckily, we're going to be coming up to a break here, so we'll all recollect ourselves and come back and get through the rest of the embedded correspondence questions. Listen up, gang. Our friends at Big Papa Smokers have something special just for you, listeners of the show, whether you're seasoned pitmaster or grilling newbie. Big Papa Smokers is your one-stop shop for all things barbecue. From their championship rubs, mouth-watering sauces, essential accessories, they've got what you need to take your food to the next level, whether you're on the competition circuit or in the backyard just like me. Here's the cherry on top. Big Papa Smokers is offering the listeners of the Barbecue Central Show an exclusive deal. Use promo code REMPE at checkout. That's REMPE. And you'll get $10 off your next $50 purchase of rubs, sauces, or accessories. Imagine the possibilities. Evaluate your your ribs with Big Papa's Sweet Money. I did this past Saturday along with Doug's rub. Or add Big Papa's Desert Gold to your chicken, or better yet, pick up Double Secret and put it on your steak. Head on over to BigPapasSmokers.com and start shopping today. And don't forget to use the promo code REMPE at checkout to claim your $10 off your next order of $50 or more. That's REMPE, REMPE, to claim your $10 off your next order of $50 or more. And don't forget to check out Big Papa's full line of recipes at cookingwithbigpapa.com. That's cooking with a G at the end, cookingwithbigpapa.com. And, of course, follow him on social media for amazing recipes. By the way, before we jump back in, and I'm not going to get into the details here, but I want to take a second and wish Sterling Ball all the positive vibes and all the well wishes that I can send. I will speak for all of us as we send them over in his direction, battling through some things right now. Could have been way more serious than it is currently ending up, but happy that's not the case. So Sterling, rooting for you, thinking of you, and looking forward to our next conversation. We'll be back with the Embedded Correspondents right after this. Stick around, be right back.
Whole packers, full racks, legs and thighs, injecting butts. If you've never heard this before, you might think you found the best XXX show ever. Let's get back to the most homoerotic host out there today, Craig Rempe.
All right, welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by Jerry Tobacco, a family-run cigar brand, vertically integrated manufacturer known for its authentic Corojo tobaccos, grown at the Jerry Tobacco Farm in Honduras. Currently offering both the new Cameroon Reserva, a Cameroon Puro, and the Fuma Noche, a dense, rich, intense cigar. Their first cigar without Corojo, believe it or not. JRETobacco.com to find a retailer near you. Try them or ask me for samples. All right, we're recollected, so we can go ahead and start asking 100% Assurity questions. John, let's start with you. 100% yes or 100% no. Rusty will make the announcement right here tonight in just a few moments that the Food Truck Podcast has officially died. Yes or no?
No, man. No, please. No. 100% no.
Matt, yes or no?
100% no.
Doug.
That didn't sound like 100% no from Matt, but I'm going to go with no.
Oh, good. Well, Rusty, it looks like I'm the only one that has a set of testicles here this evening. The answer is 100% yes. He will be announcing in just a few short seconds that thing has hit the skids. Rusty, 100% yes or 100% no? You're making the announcement exclusively here tonight.
A Barbecue Central Show exclusive news update.
That the Rusty's Food Truck Podcast is going away 100% yes or 100% no?
100% no. I'm very excited to get going with it.
Rusty, how can you say that? You haven't posted since April.
Some of us work for a living, Greg. You know, I gotta
yeah,
go
I know.
do a job.
I know. I have a real job. I'm a director of sales,
director.
Rusty. I have 25 people that report to me. That's right. I can fire somebody tomorrow if I want.
You're cooking ribs at home, man. Come on. That's a part-time job.
What are you talking about? Saturday I was cooking ribs. During the week?
Yeah, Saturday I was in a 110-degree trailer from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., okay?
You're saying for sure. So when's the next release?
I have.
I don't want to talk about that right now.
Lined up this week. Okay, I'll be not this Monday, but next Monday.
Yeah,
I'm going to do a hard and fast on that one. Yes, and we'll get right back to it.
Just one, or you're going to be doing a number of them
every Monday after that. Yep, I got 3 people lined up. Yes, I have to do it. It's like my therapy.
All right, so that's 3 shows.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll revisit this question in 4 months. The answer is yes, by the way. Matt, 100% yes or 100% no. An extra medium shirt is bigger than a medium-sized shirt, yes or no?
100% no.
John.
How am I even supposed to know this? I live in the world with X's. Y'all just want to not do X's.
This is an X.
I don't even. I'm gonna go like, yeah, it's bigger. No idea.
All right.
Yes.
Splitting the train already. Doug, 100% yes or 100% no. An extra medium shirt is bigger than a medium-sized shirt.
I don't even wear mediums. I wear larges and extra large. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. So I'm going to say no.
Rusty, an extra medium-sized shirt is bigger than a medium-sized shirt.
Yes, because science.
I also agree with Rusty because, do you say science? Okay. We'll go with science. Extra medium means a little less than medium. Extra medium, extra medium. I know it's different for the large, but I think in a medium setting, extra medium means you're going a little smaller than that. So, because extra small, extra medium is smaller. There's small, there's extra small, there's medium, there's extra medium. But when you trend into large, then it's extra large. Then the scales tip in the other direction. You didn't know that, Doug? I mean, don't you have any kind of fashion sense? I mean, me and Rusty and Matt carrying the only fashion torches on the show.
It's called slim fit. So like when you get a slim fit large.
I would never wear a slim fit anything. You got to be kidding me. And I'm slim.
Oh,
you guys wouldn't know anything about that. All right, 100% yes or 100% no, Rusty. You have tried Country Crocs Drizzle and Sizzle. Yes or no?
No.
John.
100% no.
Doug.
If I haven't heard of it, I haven't tried it.
The answer is no. Matt?
100% no, but ordered.
Where did you find out about it?
Countrycroc.com. Oh, where did
you just know to Google that?
Oh, sorry, no. I ordered it from Country Croc. I saw it on Instagram.
So you saw it on Instagram first, and then that inspired you to order it. All right. This was a Matt submitted question, by the way, in case you couldn't figure that out. That's why I let him go last. I thought it was going to be yes. 100% yes. This one is also Matt submitted. 100% yes or 100% no. The Miami Dolphins, John, that's a football team, will beat the Cleveland Browns, another football team, on December 29th on Sunday Night Football. Matt, yes or no?
All day, baby.
All right. Day? Rusty?
I hope the Browns win. That would be great. Browns. I'm going Browns for the upset.
All right. Doug, Miami Dolphins will beat the Cleveland Browns on December 29th on Sunday Night Football.
Negative.
John?
The Browns are going to win. I just tossed a coin.
Is that what you were doing? I thought you were reaching for something.
Yeah.
The answer, of course, is no. They will not be beating the Cleveland Browns. They're playing in Cleveland, right, Matt?
That is true.
Yeah, so you think you're coming up to
making it.
You think you're coming to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city from the land of sun on December 29th, and you're going to beat the Browns in our home stadium? I mean, give me a break. Well, let's follow that question up with an even more emboldened question. Matt, 100% yes or 100% no. As an add-on to the question above, Greg will be there in attendance with Matt Osman at that game. Yes or no?
100% yes.
Rusty?
Best friend time. Oh, yes. I want to see it. I would love it.
John, 100% yes or 100% no. Greg will be at that game in attendance with Matt Osman on December 29th.
Oh, you're killing me, Smalls. I'm just going to go, no, you won't be. It's freaking December 29th. It's cold.
Doug, yes or no?
I want to see the huddle cuddle buddies together. Yes.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. That was a yes. Huddle buddies. Wow. I think I want to stop the show right now immediately. I've been inspired to stop the show. Wow. The answer is this. Will Greg be there in attendance with Matt Osman on December 29th? I couldn't say no fast enough. Are you kidding me? December 29th? It's going to be cold. I don't care if Matt was paying me to go to that game. I don't care if Matt was also showing up with this girl.
Oh, you gotta give him that hawk too and spit on that
It doesn't matter if she was going with Matt and saying they were going to be in Cleveland. If any of you motherfuckers are showing up on December 29th and you want me to go outside for 4 hours, the answer will perpetually and always and forever be no. No. When have you ever known me to go outside to freeze on purpose? Never. It will never happen. So unless you have owner's box tickets, Matt, do you? I don't want to speak for you, but you got that?
I don't.
Then the answer's no.
Yet.
See you in a bar while we have a drink before the game and then dinner after the game. You will not find my ass in that stadium at all. No way, no how. John, we have some time for promotion here this evening. Is there anything you would like to promote before we let you go?
I would like to quickly use this time to remind everybody about the seasoned charcoal bit. And right here in my studio, if you can see this Kingsford garlic, paprika, and onion piece of briquette. Remember this? I took a bite of this on this very show a few years back. Is that really a crazy idea? That's all. I'm just putting it out there.
So the answer is yes, that continues to be a crazy idea. And then the lady doing her own version of that continues to be a crazy idea of that, undoubtedly. Matt, anything you're promoting tonight?
I'll pick up the slack and promote the best moments of the Barbecue Central show in 10 minutes or less on Friday.
Very good. Which, by the way, John, I just wanted to compliment you on doing a very quick turnaround on the pseudo challenge that I issued you last week by saying, I wonder if John could find the Kevin Roberts interview. Just happened to be on the same show, believe it or not. So I didn't even remember that, but I listened back to that segment and I'm like, wow, Kevin Roberts was on this show. Rusty, you have any idea who Kevin Roberts is?
Nope. I don't know who that is. Greg LaForda. Is that him that does the steaks too? I can't remember.
Pat LaFrida is the guy that does steaks. Of course, You knew that. You're just being funny. I just wonder where Kevin Roberts resonates with anybody 15 years removed. Doug, anything you're promoting this evening?
Yes, if you'd like to buy my hashtag Greg Girls Approved Rogue Rubs, you can go to my website at roguecookers.com and go to the shop page, and you can order the rubs there. Thank you very much. That's as high as wife approved in my book. So I appreciate that.
John Solberg feverishly taking notes.
I thank you so much. And I appreciate that. And recorded a show, and Lynn and Jeff say hi tonight. So I'll be on the Baseball and Barbecue podcast again. I've been absent for about a month, and I know you've missed me.
I was going to say, you've only been absent for a month because every month you're promoting your new show, Baseball and Barbecue. Rusty, it's great to have you back here as we turn July loose. What do you have coming up that you'd like to tell us about?
Well, like we talked about before, my podcast will get back up and running. If anything, I can get some sponsors to free up some money. Like I'm looking at Toast. Maybe Toast wants a sponsor, give me a free POS. I don't know. I'm just going in for selfish reasons, really. But you should listen to it. It's really good. It's called On the Road, a food truck podcast.
Rusty, was it a great regret of your life where you couldn't free up 38 seconds to come and see me live and in person when I had feet on the ground in the great city of Utah?
I was really busy that day, if I remember. I can't remember what it was.
Janet Jackson, you said it.
Oh, yeah, we had the Janet Jackson concert, but we had something that day, too. Usually when I have a truck and a trailer, they're both out. I'm done for. I got to be on one. And sometimes I can make room, but that weekend just wasn't. Oh, that's what it was. So I have three of my main people. I have Emery, Adam, and Grace, and they're just like the guys, right? They kill it. They're awesome, and they were on vacation in California. So we're putting the B team together, trying to make it happen, doing Janet Jackson catering and all that fun stuff. So that's that. I remember what it was. So yeah, I was keeping everything running.
That wasn't an.
But I was actually really, Greg, can I be honest with you? I was legit bummed I didn't get to hang out with you. I was really, really bummed about it.
That's what we want.
I was actually pretty bummed about it. I was actually really thinking about doing some weird stuff to get down there to say hi. So,
is there even more salt in that wound? Because I actually hung out with the Anthony Lujan for hours on end, sipping on soda water and eating some of the best pizza pie I've ever had in my life.
All of a sudden, glad I was working. I don't know.
All right, there he is. Guys, as always, appreciate the insight, input, and candor, and we will see you at the end of August. There they are, the embedded correspondents. That is Doug Scheiding and John Solberg and Rusty Monson and Matt Osmond, Texas, Michigan, Utah, and Tennessee, respectively. I have actually caught up on all of my business, so we can go ahead and make an exit here for an on-time departure, which we don't usually do. So we'll push away from the gate here and start our taxi. All the way back in the first hour, we had Steve Ray from Owl's Nest Barbecue Supply, Owl's Nest Barbecue. Owl's Nest BBQ.com is his website if you'd like to check it out. And then Ted Conrad came back on for a follow-up interview. We ran into some technical issues at the front of his interview last week, but he dropped back in, answered all the other questions, and has now armed you with all the proper information to make great buying decisions when you are in the market for wireless thermometers. The second hour, you know what it was all about. The embedded correspondents, Doug, John, Rusty, and Matt. Big show planned for you next week. Believe it or not, July is a 5-week month, so we have plenty to go over, plenty to talk about, great guests. Stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for the edits laid out over the course of the week through social media. If you need me, you know where to find me. So how do I always leave you? September 11th, 2001. I will never forget. And until next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, this is your program host and proud U.S. American, Greg Rempe. Shamo!
Hi, this is Jeff Stone of Grandpa's Pride Barbecue from the Panhandle of Florida, and you are listening to the Barbecue Central Show.